In the heart of the NFL season, a rivalry as old as time itself was about to unfold once again. The Kansas City Chiefs, led by the indomitable Patrick Mahomes, were set to face off against the Los Angeles Chargers, a team known for their resilience and, unfortunately, their excuses. The stage was set at Arrowhead Stadium, a venue that had seen its share of triumphs and heartaches. For Steve, a lifelong Chiefs fan, the anticipation was palpable. He had been following the team since he was a kid, and every game was a roller coaster of emotions. Derek, on the other hand, was a die-hard Chargers fan. He had seen his team through thick and thin, and despite the countless excuses, he remained steadfast in his support. The game began with a roar from the crowd, a symphony of anticipation and excitement. The Chiefs, known for their explosive offense, took the field with confidence. The Chargers, on the other hand, started with a cautious optimism, their eyes gleaming with a mix of determination and trepidation. As the first quarter unfolded, the Chiefs quickly established their dominance. Mahomes, with his uncanny ability to read the field, orchestrated a series of flawless drives. The Chargers' defense, though valiant, struggled to keep up. The scoreboard began to tilt in favor of the Chiefs, and the Chargers' sideline buzzed with the first whispers of excuses. Steve watched with a growing sense of pride. He had seen Mahomes pull off incredible feats before, but this was something else. Derek, meanwhile, felt a familiar sense of frustration. He had heard the excuses before, and he knew they were just the beginning. By halftime, the Chiefs had a commanding lead. The Chargers huddled in their locker room, the air thick with tension. Coach Brandon Staley addressed his team, his voice a mix of frustration and encouragement. "We're not out of this yet," he said, "but we need to tighten up our defense and capitalize on our opportunities." Derek watched the halftime show with a sense of unease. He knew the excuses were coming, and he braced himself for the inevitable. The players nodded, but the seeds of doubt had already been planted. "The refs are against us," muttered one player. "The crowd noise is too loud," complained another. "Mahomes is just too good," sighed a third. The excuses began to pile up, a weight that threatened to crush their spirits. Steve, on the other hand, was filled with a sense of elation. He had seen the Chiefs dominate before, but this felt different. This felt like a statement, a declaration of their supremacy. The second half saw a brief resurgence from the Chargers. Quarterback Justin Herbert, with his trademark calm demeanor, led a series of impressive drives. The Chargers' offense began to click, and for a moment it seemed like they might turn the tide. Derek watched with a glimmer of hope. He had seen his team come back from the brink before, and he knew they had the talent to do it again. But the excuses were never far from his mind. But the Chiefs were not to be outdone. Mahomes, with his characteristic flair, continued to dazzle the crowd. The Chiefs' defense, led by the formidable Chris Jones, held strong against the Chargers' advances. The scoreboard continued to favor the Chiefs, and the Chargers' excuses grew louder. Steve watched with a sense of satisfaction. He had seen the Chiefs hold their ground before, and he knew they had the resilience to see this through. As the fourth quarter began, the Chargers were desperate. They needed a miracle, a moment of brilliance that could turn the game around. But the Chiefs were relentless. Mahomes continued to dominate, his passes slicing through the air with precision. The Chiefs' defense held firm, shutting down the Chargers' attempts to rally. Derek watched with a growing sense of despair. He had seen his team fall short before, but this felt different. This felt like a missed opportunity. A chance that had slipped through their fingers. The excuses flowed freely now. "The weather was against us," said one player. "The field conditions were terrible," complained another. "We just didn't have our best day," sighed a third. The litany of excuses was a sad symphony, a lament for a game that had slipped through their fingers. Steve watched with a sense of triumph. He had seen the Chiefs emerge victorious before, and he knew they had the heart of champions. As the final whistle blew, the Chiefs celebrated their victory. The crowd at Arrowhead Stadium erupted in cheers, a sea of red and gold. The Chargers, on the other hand, trudged off the field, their heads hung low. The excuses continued to echo in their minds, a bitter reminder of what could have been. Derek watched the post-game press conference with a mix of disappointment and resignation. Coach Staley addressed the media with a mix of frustration and resolve. "We played hard, but we didn't play smart," he said. "We'll learn from this and come back stronger." But the excuses lingered, a cloud that threatened to overshadow their future efforts. Steve watched with a sense of pride. He had seen the Chiefs overcome adversity before, and he knew they would continue to do so. The saga of the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers was a tale of triumph and excuses. The Chiefs, with their unwavering confidence and skill, emerged victorious. The Chargers, despite their talent, were held back by their excuses, a weight that ultimately proved too heavy to bear. For Steve, the saga was a reminder of the power of perseverance and the importance of taking responsibility for one's actions. He knew that the Chiefs would continue to face challenges, but he also knew that they had the resilience to overcome them. For Derek, the saga was a lesson in humility and the need to confront one's excuses head-on. He knew that the Chargers would have to learn from their mistakes and use them as stepping stones to success. For in the world of the NFL, excuses are a luxury that no team can afford. And so the saga continues, a testament to the power of perseverance and the folly of excuses. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers will meet again, and the tale of their rivalry will be written anew.